What a cool little town. I actually like this so much better than a hotel.
Lock the front door!
Your number 8 film is The Strangers Chapter 1. I know there was a Strangers movie that came out in 2008. I don't think this is related to that, or if it is, it's before that. It's a prequel, I think. Saw the trailer, still don't quite know what's going on here. It is Madelaine Petsch, if that's the right way to pronounce her name. And then there's Gabriel, Brasso as the two main lead characters, as the couple that goes to the small town. Tell me about Strangers Chapter 1.
What I'm really curious, what really attracted me to this movie, it isn't necessarily the story or the cast. I'm hoping the story does well. I'm hoping the movie does well, but it's the director. Renny Harlin is directing this movie, and he directed
Die Hard 2.
Die Hard 2, and he directed Cutthroat Island. I'm just waiting for someone to laugh at that so we can unleash the cheetah. I love that movie. Cutthroat Island is one of my guilty pleasures. Love that movie.
To this day, I've never seen it. To me, it's more of a punchline than it is.
No, it's so good. It's so good. It really is.
Is it so bad that it's good, or is it actually good?
No, it's really good. It's exciting. Honest to God, I would match up that movie with Pirates of the Caribbean. I really would. Oh yeah. That movie is so much fun, and the pacing's a lot quicker too. It's not bloated, and it doesn't like the Pirates was at the end of it. But it's a good movie. It's fun. It's very fun, and Renny Harlin did a great job there because he's done a lot. He's done a lot of movies underneath the radar too. He did one with Samuel Jackson and Edward Harris called The Cleaner, which is vastly underrated. No one's ever seen that movie. That movie is really strong. I'm curious to see how he does it. I think he's going to do part 1, part 2, part 3. I think he's going to do it as prequel, modern day, future. That's how I see it. And I think it's going to be very entertaining. And they're already all filmed. I'm excited for it. I like slashers, but I mean, it's not my cup of, it's not my favorite one. But I am very interested in seeing what Renny Harlin does with this. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people.
The fact that they shot multiple films at the same time, it's not as unusual as it used to be, but it is still an unusual thing for a studio to fork out enough money for 3 feature films that they're going to shoot all at once. So that did kind of grab my attention a little bit too. And as far as the premise, it's a couple that goes to a small town. They get stuck there, and then the people with the masks start coming for them. Seems like a pretty tried and true horror premise that we've seen a million times before. Is there anything that stands out about this premise?
If you think about it, it does sort of have a sort of like a Children of the Corn vibe too. Like that's what happened to the couple came into the town, and next thing you know, all the kids are controlling it or what have you. I mean, if it comes out where there are a lot of people doing the same thing, I think that's a mistake. I think if it's just those 2 versus the original 3, like this is how the first 3 got to get going, I think it'll be a much more interesting movie. If they make the whole town like it, then I think you risk losing the audience. 2 against many that's the thing. You got to put them on the defensive, and you got to have them run for their lives. You can't have them killing the whole town and escaping the last 3. Now, have them chase you to the next movie. You can't do that. I think if you do that, you'll lose the audience. I am a little concerned for the cast. The only person I think has any sort of recognizable name here is Madelaine Petsch, and from Riverdale. I think that's the only one that people will know. Horror fans themselves might remember Richard Brake. He's worked with Rob Zombie before. But other than that, I think the rest of the cast is a virtual all no names, are all young people, and I think that's just kept the budget down. But I'm concerned by that because there's nobody that we could grab onto other than Richard Brake, and even then, like I said, the public's not going to really know who he is. Will that be enough for you to be invested in these people? Are they going to survive this movie? That's the other thing too. Is like, is Renny Harlin going to let them survive to keep going forward with the killers? Or is he just going to have them die at the end and then take his 3 killers and move them on to the next story?
It'll be interesting to see how he ties, if there is a grand story that he's tying it all together with. Because I do like Renny Harlin too, so it'll be interesting to see what he does with this franchise as a whole.
Dan from the Cinema Squad mentions he thinks I think the strangers themselves are the bigger pull. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, it just would have been nice to, this is not saying it's a lot, but it's what people recognize. I do too. I definitely think so too, and I think it'll probably be the same dynamic, two girls and a guy. I just wish that there would actually been someone who we could see their faces with, so we could recognize them a little bit. I think it just helps with the pull a little bit. And the first one, you had Scott Speedman and you had Liv Tyler, both very recognizable, both big stars, and that was the big pull. It's like, wow, okay, and that's what made the movie more effective, was because you didn't expect them to die. You expected them to somehow get out of it. Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler, but then you find out that no, not necessarily.